Welcome to Universal Group of Institution, Bangalore. Today we are going to discuss about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Why suddenly we are discussing about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? Let us look at the major events that have taken place in the past 3 to 4 months. The war between the Russia and Ukraine, is stretching beyond. It's been a 1.5 year. The war is continuing. The political tensions in Middle East is rising. 2 days ago itself, there was an attack was reported by the Houthi rebels on the Saudi oil tanker. The US said it was attacked by the Houthis. So the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniya has led to the increased tension between the Iran and the Israel. So in all these backdrops, the oil security, the energy security get threatened. So we are discussing today about strategic petroleum reserve. Let us dive into this topic. So what are we going to discuss here? How this concept has evolved over a period of a time. What is the nations and their stock? What is the story of India? I mean, what is the strategic petroleum reserve limit that we have? And we are going to study this. So, what is SPR? SPR refers to, that is strategic petroleum oil reserve, refers to crude oil inventories or the stockpile held by the government of a nation as well as the private industry to safeguard the economy and help to maintain the national security during the energy crisis. So what are the benefits that we gain come out of the one is it offers a nation an insurance policy against the potential supply disruption. Second, it provides a deterrent to hostile threats to cut off the oil supply, as well as it is going to ensure that the economy does not face any crisis. How this concept has evolved over a period of time. Let us go back to an important event in the history, that is the 1973 oil crisis. The 1973 oil crisis has happened due to the war between the Arab world and the Israel, which the war is known as the Yom Kippur War. Now, during the time of the Yom Kippur War, the Western world supported the Israel. So, all those oil producing Arab nations imposed an oil embargo on the nations that were supporting the Israel. The notable countries were like US, Canada, UK, Japan, which started to face these energy crises. As a result of this oil embargo, suddenly the price of the oil increased 4 times in the international market, and due to this there was a widespread economic crisis that happened in the industrialized nations. So in the backdrop of this, these western countries, the western industrialized nations, decided to mitigate any such eventuality that happens in the future. So what was the solution? They went on to establish an important institution called as International Energy Agency. This International Energy Agency has an objective to ensure that no nation would ever face the crisis in the energy sector. That is, it ensures energy security for all. So let us look at the IEA members need to sign an International Energy Program agreement which requires that the oil stockpiles must be equivalent to no less than 90 days of its net imports, and it has to be ready collectively if there is any oil crisis. Second, the India joined the IEA, that is a International Energy Agency, in the year 2017. We became an association country, and currently Indian government has expressed their willingness to be full-time member of the IEA. Recently, the month of the February, a meeting was held, the ministerial conference, where the IEA members discussed about the membership of India. With the increased clout of India in terms of economy, in terms of population, in terms of the strategic or a significant role that India is facing in elevating the global challenges like climate change and all, welcome India as a full-time member. That yet to be seen when India will become a full-time member of the IEA. So one of the important publication that comes out of the IEA, International Energy Agency, is World Energy Outlook. This is very important from the perspective of the civil service examination. So let us look at how the India has adopted the special strategic reserve. When India became, prior to India becoming a member of the associated member of the IEA, India government was not having any strategic petroleum reserves. In those times, the oil producing countries, the oil refineries, they were maintaining the stock of the petroleum. Oil countries like the Indian Oil Corporation, Hindustan Petroleum, Bharat Petroleum, they were all maintaining the strategic reserve which can provide the net import cover for the nearly at least 2 months. So what happened with regard to the government is 1990 Gulf War, that is when Iraq invaded Kuwait. India faced the energy crisis where the suddenly the oil supply has declined. At that time, government thought that there is a need to ensure that the nation's economy get insulated by these energy shocks. It was in 1998 the Vajpayee government proposed building a strategic petroleum reserve as a long-term solution to any sudden oil crisis. But yet, no country or no company was willing to provide additional supply for such a reserve nor money to invest. So what happened is that presently the government establishing something called as strategic petroleum reserve. Phase one, the we came up with three places. There is a place Visakhapatnam, Mangalore, and Padur, where Visakhapatnam on the eastern coast can host up to 1.33 million metric ton of capacity. Mangaluru and Padur with the 1.5 and 2.5 of the capacity. Phase two, the government has approved the establishment of two more strategic petroleum oil reserves. One in the state of Orissa, that is Chandikhol, and the existing Padur was the capacity was expanded by another 2.5 MMT. So with these increased capacity, the government or the Indian economy is in a better position to absorb any oil shocks. Oils, I mean the strategic petroleum reserves are stored in something called as the rock caverns. So what are these rock caverns? So rock caverns are nothing but these are the large man-made unlined underground excavations in the rock formation. The storage of fuel in these rock caverns was technically first developed by the Sweden. So after the development of the Sweden, the other countries like Finland, Norway, South Korea, Japan, they were also able to develop these rock caverns. Why there is a need to store these petroleum reserves in the rock caverns? Why not overground? The underground storage of hydrocarbons is much more economical in comparison with the overground facility, and it needs lesser land surface, it generates less evaporation losses, and it is more environment friendly and lasts longer, as well as it is several times safer against any nuclear attack, any terror attacks, as well as the natural disaster. That is the reason the rock caverns are preferred over ground facilities. So let us look at some of the overview of the petro sector. If you look at the top three nations that consume petrol is United States, China, and India. So India is the third largest oil consumer in the world. If you look at the last year, the nation that produced more oil was United States of America, followed by Russia, followed by the Saudi Arabia. With the war between the Russia and the Ukraine, we are witnessing that the Western nations have imposed the sanctions on the Russia. As a result, Russia is offering petroleum at a subsidized rate to India, and we see that the in the last 1 year, the India is getting more oil from the Russia, followed by the Iraq as well as the Saudi Arabia. So currently, Russia is supplying more oil to India in comparison with the Iraq and the Saudi Arabia. Prior to the sanctions that were imposed on the Iran was also one of the leading oil supplier to India. So this is about the important topic called as the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Keep watching our channel for more updates. Thank you.